Okay, so today we are reading Naomi's Blessing. We have to read Ruth 4 1 through 22, okay?
Ruth 4. Meanwhile, Boaz went up to the town gate and sat down there just as the guardian redeemer he had mentioned came along. Boaz said, "Come over here, my friend, and sit down." So he went over and sat down. Boaz took 10 of the elders of the town and said, "Sit here," and they did so. Then he said to the guardian redeemer, "Naomi, who has come back from Moab, is selling the piece of land that belonged to our relative Elimelech. I thought I should bring the matter to your attention and suggest that you buy it in the presence of these seated here and in the presence of the elders of my people. If you will redeem it, do so. But if you will not, tell me, so I will know. For no one has the right."
Hold on. I don't know if it's the tone that he's speaking in, but I'm not following. Wait, were you guys following? All right, all right, all right. I don't know if I should be reading right now though. Meanwhile, no. Okay, I'm locking. I'm locking. I'm locking.
Ruth 3. One day, Ruth's mother-in-law Naomi said to her, "My daughter, I must find a home for you, where you will be well." Ruth 4. Meanwhile, Boaz went up to the town gate and sat down there just as the guardian redeemer he had mentioned came along. Boaz said, "Come over here, my friend, and sit down." So he went over and sat down. Boaz took 10 of the elders of the town and said, "Sit here," and they did so. Then he said to the guardian redeemer, "Naomi, who has come back from Moab, is selling the piece of land that belonged to our relative Elimelech. I thought I should bring the matter to your attention and suggest that you buy it in the presence of these seated here and in the presence of the elders of my people. If you will redeem it, do so. But if you will not, tell me, so I will know. For no one has the right to do it except you, and I am next in line." "I will redeem it," he said. Then Boaz said, "On the day you buy the land from Naomi, you also acquire Ruth the Moabite, the dead man's widow, in order to maintain the name of the dead with his property." At this the guardian redeemer said, "Then I cannot redeem it because I might endanger my own estate. You redeem it yourself. I cannot do it." Now in earlier times in Israel, for the redemption and transfer of property to become final, one party took off his sandal and gave it to the other. This was the method of legalizing actions in Israel. So the guardian redeemer said to Boaz, "Buy it yourself." And he removed his sandal. Then Boaz announced to the elders and all the people, "Today you are witnesses that I have bought from Naomi all the property of Elimelech, Kilion, and Mahlon. I have also acquired Ruth the Moabite, Mahlon's widow, as my wife, in order to maintain the name of the dead with his property, so that his name will not disappear from among his family or from his hometown. Today you are witnesses." Then the elders and all the people at the gate said, "We are witnesses. May the Lord make the woman who is coming into your home like Rachel and Leah, who together built up the family of Israel."
Who is Boaz? Who is Boaz? Like, we skipped the chapter. Who's Boaz? We just went straight in. I know it's the voice, bro. Like, I swear, I'm so sorry. This is why in school it took a little extra time, and I know you guys are gonna say I'm slow, but I am a visual, but I have to read out loud to be able to comprehend something, and his voice is like I can't I like when someone's telling me a story. Like, I'm not saying it, but I'm saying, like, when somebody's telling me a story in real life and they're just like I can't. It's monotone. I can't follow. How many people were in your class? Like 3. Boaz is a very rich man. I'm trolling, by the way, but Boaz was Ruth's kinsman, redeemer, and eventually her husband. What's a kinsman? Kinsman. I swear I'm not even trying to like mock or anything. Like, it's really hard for me to follow, which is why I literally went to a church and had to go to a different church because I would fall asleep in that church. Like, God knows my heart though. He forgave me for that. But it was bad. Bro, I was in a regular class. Like, what are you talking about? My pops kept pinching me and yeah. Guys, I really want to get this done. Okay, maybe we don't need to read it, okay? Okay, look. Look. The key verse of today is, Then Naomi took the child and laid him in her lap and became his nurse. The neighbor women gave him a name, saying, A son has been born to Naomi. So they named him Obed. He is the father of Jesse, the father of David. So we have to understand, that's not even the same verse. Okay, so that's 16 through 17. That's Ruth 16 through 17. I just popped a Listerine thing and that shit just made fun. So Boaz took Ruth and became his wife. Then he made love to her. The Lord enabled her to conceive, and she gave birth to a son. The woman said to Naomi, Praise be to the Lord, who this day has not left you without a guardian redeemer. May he become famous throughout Israel. He will renew your life and sustain you in your old age. For your daughter-in-law, who loves you, and who is better to you than 7 sons, has given him birth. Then Naomi took the child in her arms and cared for him. The woman living there said, No, Naomi, okay, yeah? Okay. This then is the family line of Perez. Whoa, that's my family's name. Okay. Meanwhile, Boaz went up to the town gate and sat down there in his garden. Boaz said, Come over here, my friend, and sit down. So he went over and sat down. And Boaz took 10 of the elders to sit here, and they did so. Okay, we read all that. After the guardian redeemer said, I can redeem because I'm my teacher, my honesty. Okay. Now, in earlier times in Israel, for the redemption and transfer of property to become final, one party took off his sandal and gave it to the other. This was the method of legalizing transactions in Israel. See, I heard him say that, but I didn't even really take it in. So the guardian redeemer said to Boaz, Buy it yourself, and he removed his sandal. Then Boaz announced to the elder, okay. Try a different translation like MSG or CSB, or watch the video stories on it. It's okay. It's not that, I just had to he's not all that important. No, I mean, that's not to say that, but this is the Bible study of today. So, then Naomi took the child and laid him in her lap and became his nurse. The neighbor women gave him a name, saying, A son has been born to Naomi. So they named him Obed. He is the father of Jesse, the father of David. So we have to understand, have you ever experienced joy that was born from sorrow? In other words, a blessing that came after a very hard loss or disappointment. Yes. Yes, I have. Because, in other words, a blessing that came after a very hard loss or disappointment. A blessing that came after a very hard loss or disappointment. I feel like you have to go through things sometimes in life, and go through certain things and trials and tribulations to be able to recognize. Hold on, let me word this how I want to word this. Maybe sometimes you didn't necessarily lose something that you think you needed. And that's a blessing in itself. That's just one example, though. You don't see the lesson until you go through it. I'll write that down. Sometimes you don't see the lesson unless you go through it. It sucks because sometimes, like, when one person experiences a lot of loss and a lot of disappointments, they feel like maybe there isn't, like, light at the end of the tunnel, or they're not going to get blessed one day. But I always feel like for someone to go through so much, for a person to go through so much, it's like you sometimes have to feel like God makes no mistakes. Sometimes you have to feel certain things to be able to recognize other things, because maybe you're not taking in certain things. I don't know if this is making sense. Okay, so now, when God promises to use all things for good for those who love him, what do you think that means? This is Romans 8:28. I need reference. Ooh. Do wanna be a distraction, baby? This is it, that for reference. Oh, that's it. That's all it is. Or that all things work together for good to those who love God, or that in all things God works together with those who love him to bring about what is good. Okay, I mean, that's pretty much just so the same. Okay, when God promises to use all things for good for those who love him, what do you think he means by that? All things that work together for God, for good to see those who love God. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, I that's my answer. Hi. All things work together for good to those who love God. That's actually fire. Like, okay, I didn't mean fire, but that's, if you really, like, unpack that, it's like, even when you think pretty much what we just said about disappointments and stuff, like, even when you think something is wrong or something's disappointing or you experience some type of loss of some sort, they all come together if you love him. It will all make sense. You gotta have faith. You can copy and paste. Yeah, I can do that. I can copy and paste onto my journal. Nope, not getting rage baited during Bible study. Okay, so now we have to apply. Naomi had experienced great sorrow, but God was not finished with her story. He led her back to Bethlehem and provided a loyal daughter-in-law, Ruth, to journey with her. Ruth gathered barley in the fields of Boaz and caught his attention. He was touched by her loyalty to Naomi, and he showed her generosity. Boaz purchased the land that had belonged to Naomi's late husband in order to acquire Ruth and Naomi. He married Ruth and cared for both of the women. Naomi was given a grandson through Ruth, and even though Ruth was not her biological daughter, she became nurse to little Obed. Am I saying that right? Obed. It's literally O-B-E-D. Obed would one day be the father of Jesse and the grandfather of King David, from whose line came the Messiah, Jesus. Wait, what? Yeah, I gotta open my Bible a little bit more. She became nursed a little Obed. Obed would one day be the father of Jesse and the grandfather of King David, from whose line came from the Messiah, Jesus. Okay. God works in mysterious ways, but he always uses all things for good for those who love him. We just said that. So I'm just going to say exactly the same thing I just said to you guys. Everything happens for a reason. $750 people in here need this Bible study, including me. Well, okay. Okay, so now we're gonna pray. Oh shit. Now we're gonna pray. Oh, sorry. Now we're gonna pray. This is a 10-second prayer. I ask you guys to close your eyes. No typing. Just close your eyes. Just trust me. Listen. If I'm in your ears, just listen. Let's just pray together. Close your eyes. Okay? Lord, even when I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, help me to remember that you are with me. You will use all things for good in my life because I love you. Amen. I like that prayer. I like that prayer. Even when I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, help me to remember that you are with me. You will use all things for good in my life because I love you. This is a good Bible study today.